Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. All right, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and this is the Bad Batch, bitches. It's fucking great to be back with the boys from The Mandalorian and WandaVision. I am so happy to be joined by one Joseph George. How are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm glad that one particular guest is back, I'll say.
I'm ready to be talking some Star Wars with y'all again, especially. Like, God damn it, we're back. We're fucking back. We've also got Miles motherfucking Buttress. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy that Joseph speaks so highly of me, saying that I'm the one particular person he wanted to be on this podcast. Thank you so much.
That was
Joseph.
very
It means
sweet
a lot.
of him.
It was really sweet of you.
Hey, as it should be. As it should be.
I'm so happy you did me next, Colton, because I was waiting so much to say that.
And fighting out of the red corner, coming in at 180 pounds. I might be giving him a few.
That's you.
Yeah, we've got KBZ, Kyler Barnett. Welcome back.
It's so funny because right in my head I was like, this feels like the Bulls moment, like my Bulls intro, you know, and then you just went right into that and I was like, wow, this is perfect. Like it really is the, you know, this is that moment for me. Yeah, guys, how's it going? I'm so glad to be back and The craziest part is like, so we had WandaVision and Captain America since the last Star Wars topic. So this has felt like forever for me.
This is forever. It's felt like it's been at least, wild to think about, 16 weeks. At least that.
Can I be honest?
4 months.
Can I be honest? I missed you, Kyler.
Dude, hey, I missed you guys too. I hope you know that. I would listen to the pod and I'd be like, man, I would have a thought and like I just start thinking it in my head and be like, man, I would have loved to have like gotten right in the middle of that.
Gotta be honest, my life's really gone downhill.
Wow. Yikes.
Maybe this is the start back up of the rise.
He's really bottomed out, Kyler. I don't know. He's
Damn.
turning tricks in the street for cash.
Oh man. I'm in the subways, man.
Damn.
Every night, grinding.
Down bad are we, Joe? Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Hey, whatever I can do to help, I'm back.
All right. So. Well, hopefully we're going at the green now. You know, hopefully.
Well, we love to have Kyler back, but Tillman McClooney will be missed, and I'm sure he will be back with us.
Yeah, no cap.
In the future.
No, I really was like, I hope we don't talk too much about me because then it's gonna seem like I feel bad and like uncomfortable for Tillman because like that dude did a hell of a job. Like I listened to the
Tillman did
to
so
the Falcon
well.
Winter Soldier and he was solid. So it's like no disrespect.
No,
I'm just
Tillman,
glad to
whenever
be
you hear
back.
this, love you, but fuck you.
Nah, Till, it's all love, and I'm sure we'll probably even get him in here for a Bad Batch episode at some point. It's not like he's going to be gone for too long. He'll be back before you know it. But let's talk Star Wars, baby. We got The Bad Batch Episode 1 titled Aftermath.
Can we take a second?
Oh, fuck. Oh, God, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This
is exactly where I wanted this show to start.
Dude, so perfect.
Can we nut real quick? Like
just for real? 1 second?
I mean, boys.
It was so good.
Just I honestly almost did that just at the intro dude's voice. Just hearing that again after having not heard it.
I don't know
since
what I
Clone Wars.
expected.
I was like,
I didn't expect it to be like a direct, like we are picking up from
Yeah,
where the Clone Wars left off. This is an actual sequel series.
Yeah,
Like,
it said, you remember how we ended before everyone died in the Clone Wars? Yeah, we're not done.
dude, I loved it. And opening with the story of Caleb Doom. Do you guys know this kid grows up to be Kanan Jarrus of Star Wars Rebels?
Okay, yes. That's what I thought. That's definitely what I thought.
I did not hear his name at first, and so I just saw the Jedi and the Padawan. And, I watched this episode with Tillman, and I turned to Tillman and said, God, I can't wait to see both of them die.
One of the most memorable moments of the episode that I can pick out is whenever that dude opened his mouth for the first time. I expected a squeaker's voice.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, it's the actual voice.
Guy who voiced Kanan Jarrus.
Out loud, I went, huh? Like, I literally had a, huh? What? What is that coming out of his mouth? It's just a grown
man's voice coming out of that tiny kid's body.
Yeah, I was I would agree with you. That threw me for a loop a little bit. At first I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
All my fans out there that have never seen Rebels, and it's just like you're awkwardly in this circle, and it's like really helps to have that Rebels knowledge, but you just don't have it, and you're just like, it's awkward. Hey, I'm here. I'm representing you guys.
That's what they did good about this scene, though, is that if you haven't seen Rebels, you don't need to have. Like, it's kind of like the origin story for a different young Jedi. Yeah.
It's kind of like Ahsoka and the Mandalorian, I would assume.
Exactly. It's just kind of like they're branching this gap so that they're going to hear after the episode, that's the main character in Rebels. And then people are going to be like, oh, shit, now I'm going to go watch Rebels. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I wonder if they did that specifically so that way they could be like, so that way someone could hear, oh, that's the Jedi from Rebels, and then you'll get a bunch of people that haven't seen Rebels go watch Rebels.
Well, that's the thing too, is that Dave Filoni especially is going to try to get that connectivity throughout the universe to get credibility behind the animated series, to make sure that people know these are hardcore canon. He made it so he's going to make sure you know about it.
I gotta say something real quick.
Tell me, Joe.
To my man, my number one, Dave Filoni. Hey, man, I want to make sure you hear this loud and clear. You deserve a good old ass eating, my boy.
My boy.
You deserve it.
And not where I expected that to go, but okay.
It was exactly where I expected it to go. That's exactly the energy we need for our guy, Dave Filoni.
I gotta be honest, man. Like, if this isn't the second coming of Christ, if it's literally not Christ himself, I don't know who he is at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, I love the man, and where he's going with these shows, just the effort that he's putting in.
You know what he really deserves? He really deserves, talked about it a little bit in that Patreon special. He really deserves that 7 Padme treatment.
7 Padme, 1 R2. Don't forget the 1 R2. The R2 does
work.
1
R2 comes in handy.
He's got some tricks up his sleeve. You guys might not know.
Look, all I was going to say about Dave Filoni... Oh my. What I was going to say about Dave Filoni was, like, I feel like when we talk about him, like, he's going to have this, like, you know how we talk about, like, NBA or NFL players, like, resumes, like, they're like, what's their career look like? You know what I mean? Like, what have they done in their career? Like, Dave Filoni is going to have one of those all-time, like, just, like, sleeper, like, nobody would think of him first, like, at least not the most popular population, you know what I mean? But, like, obviously we're going to give him his love, but, like, he's going to be kind of, like, something, and then people are going to look at what he had a hand in all of Star Wars.
You just look at all the Star Wars, and then just, like, for the fuck of it, tack on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just for the fuck of it.
He's like
impressive ass resume.
Phil Jackson. He's like he's just Phil Jackson. It's just everything he touches is just like goated.
Yeah, he's a king, frankly. But I do worry about the, potential kind of oversaturation of these characters. Because I know Dave Filoni likes to do those crossovers, and he likes to, and don't get me wrong, I love crossovers. I'm never going to be like, this was fucking bad. But I know, I know there are going to be people who will say, like, can we get new stories, please? Like, why do we keep banking on these same characters for you? Why does Ahsoka have to be a Rebels sequel? Like, stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I want a Rebels sequel. I am totally up for Ahsoka to be that. But there are those people who aren't going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any of those concerns?
It's an interesting dynamic. It's kind of like, with DC, like with the Arrow and Flash and all of those. It's kind of like, maybe you're super into one of, the shows, like maybe you like really like Arrow, but like maybe Flash isn't your favorite. And like, you don't want to have to watch the Flash to watch it, your guy, Oliver Queen hitting it up.
Yeah.
I don't know, but with Star Wars, I mean, I'm going to watch anything they put out. I don't care what it is. So at the end of the day, it don't matter.
I'm kind of in the same boat where, I understand the concerns, but I also just don't care because I'm going to watch everything Star Wars related that comes out. So,
every single thing. And you know what? I'm going to like it. Like,
yeah.
At this point, no matter how controversial or how bad some people might think it is, because it's Star Wars, I will always try my best to find the best things about it and enjoy those things enough to outweigh the bad things. I'm yet to see something that is completely ruined for me. You know what I'm saying?
At worst, even if it's not a great story or something like that, you can still watch it and sit down and be like, you know what? Not a great, like the sequels. For me, not great movies. Still enjoyed the hell out of them.
Still Star Wars, still Star Wars. And as long as it feels like Star Wars, I'm in.
Maybe this will make Disney realize that Dave Filoni is it. Like, they'll see how the sequels went, and they'll be like, those weren't really, conceived as the best. And then they'll see what Dave Filoni has done with Disney and just put out bangers after bangers. And then maybe they'll, maybe let's start a petition. Let's get it to the UN. Let's put it as a galactic position. Dave Filoni is the Star Wars guy. There's no one else.
Star Wars
he
guy.
is elected by the universe to be the Star Wars guy.
Here's my thing. I love Dave Filoni, and I've made that abundantly clear on this podcast. But I want multiple creative takes on Star Wars.
But the only time that happened was the sequels, and look how it turned out.
No, the problem with that is that it was poorly planned. You can still have creative diversity, like diversity among creators.
Not with a universe
and create
like this.
A special project like The Mandalorian.
Not with a universe like this.
Directors.
No, you can if you hand it off to someone and say, show us your vision with these 3 movies, and you don't instead say, show us your vision with 1 movie. All right, now we're going to hand it off to someone else for this next movie, and now we're going to hand it back to the first person for this 3rd movie.
No. Let me explain. Let me explain something. Game of Thrones, goated show. The first seasons were goated because guess what? They had books to go off of. They did change some stuff. They took some, artistic liberties, but they had books to go off of. Then the mastermind, George R. R. Martin, doesn't have
By the way, we'll never put out another book in that series.
Never. But
never.
This is the first time they don't have anything to go off of. George tells them, hey, here's some big points, and then we got the artistic version of that and not the mastermind's version, and look how it turned out. Whenever we didn't get a George Lucas's child, whenever it was George Lucas, it was good. The prequels weren't fantastic, but they were good.
Well, and that's the thing is that the prequels have aged phenomenally. And the reason is that and I think that's the reason, like, no matter how much controversy the sequel stirred up, eventually it'll just be like 20 years down the road, like another set of Star Wars movies, because there will be so much by then. It's not like it's going to be like a stain on the fucking brand that is Star Wars forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Joseph, against your point just a little bit, though, with with Game of Thrones, there was a grand scheme of where it was going and where it was ending. And they got everything but the very end they were told what to do, and that's the issue. That's the same issue where
arguably
if you try and
the most important part.
Exactly. That was the issue, is they got everything but the very end. They were told what to do for everything.
Okay, can you imagine?
That's the same issue.
Something from the Lord of the Rings universe came out, and it wasn't from the dude who I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy.
I'm pretty sure they are doing that.
They're making a Lord of the Rings series on Amazon.
Amazon is making a Lord of the Rings series with
most
approval
expensive series of all time.
Yeah, with approval from the Tolkien estate. So that's exactly what they're doing. And I don't know whether or not it's going to be good or not. But the issue with
it better be. I'm going to watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. But that was the same issue with the prequels, Joseph, or with the sequels, Joseph. Is they were given, or they weren't told anything, which isn't always an issue, because we've seen other things work perfectly fine in the Star Wars universe where they weren't told exactly what to do by George Lucas. But we went from one artistic vision to another artistic vision to back to the original artistic vision, and that threw it off.
I have an idea. What I have set up for us here is a scene-by-scene breakdown of the first episode of Bad Batch, Aftermath. We have stemmed away pretty deeply, and I completely forgot what the episode was supposed to be about. And now we will return. So, we're returning to the days of The Mandalorian. I don't know what it is about Star Wars compared to Marvel, but I have to take notes on every scene when it's Star Wars so we can talk about it. It's different. I don't know what it is. I feel like I need to. So we're going back to those days where I just read the episode.
Hey,
I've got the 7-page layout here.
I pretty much stayed out of that conversation. But yo, Joseph Miles, how does it feel to be reprimanded by Colton right now? This man just sunned both of you.
No, Colton is like the father. The father.
He just ear grabbed you and just drug you into the corner.
We're like the children, and Colton is the one that has to be like, you know what, guys, shut up.
Dog, y'all just shut up.
Here's the thing, though. The reason is because I know for a fact we will watch those movies together, and we will talk about them on the podcast. So if we just divulge all our takes right now, we'll be just repeating ourselves. So I want to rein it in a little bit. That's just a teaser. You feel me? One day we'll get there.
We're going to let loose.
Let's talk Bad Batch. So we open on the planet Collar.
Can we talk?
Go ahead.
Can we appreciate the cinematography of this show? And the level up that we got.
Bro, this opening scene on Collar and then everything after it, just fucking gorgeous. It was the
graininess. I don't know how to describe it. It's you could tell it's animation, but it looks real, but it's not. But they're not trying to make it realistic, but it looks. It's I don't know. It's weird. But it works. It just works, and it fits the mood of the show.
It's enveloping. It makes you feel like you're a part of the world. It's it feels.
And the camera angles are weird too. The camera angles are off. This is one of the only Star Wars camera angles where it's crooked. The only time you get any weird camera angle in Star Wars is if you're in a TIE fighter, and it's you're flying.
Yeah.
It's the only time. But this show, we've gotten so many artistic cool camera angles and it's just, I don't know. I love what they're doing. The CGI or animators, they're damn. I don't know. Talented, whoever they are.
All right, so we got this battle between the Separatists and the Republic forces on this planet Collar. The assault being led by Master Billipa and our Padawan Caleb Doom, and it's not going well for him. It's not going well at all. So they need reinforcements in the way of the Bad Batch. And I love that Caleb just found these guys. He was like, fuck it. Reinforcements? Oh, the Bad Batch. That's right. And they absolutely fuck on these folks. It's not even close. They absolutely obliterate these guys, completely shit on them. It's a massacre. Rest in peace to the droids. And they did what the entire army could not, like Grand Admiral Tarkin says in that trailer. You know what I'm saying? And Caleb and Billipa watch on, and the clones watch on in awe of the Bad Batch as they, quote, do their thing. And after they rain hellfire on the Separatists, they approach Billapa to discuss what's next. And Hunter suggests a counterattack, and Billapa gives the order. And Wrecker approaches, and I love Wrecker's energy. You know, he's always hype. He's always there. Little Jedi! You missed all the fun! He's just a fucking brute through and through, man. But I love his softy. He's got a real soft side, like real deal soft side on Wrecker. And I think
it's you hear the little kid go, and then you hear the little 12-year-old, "Hey, I'm 13 years old, by the way."
What's up, Wrecker? Hey, this is Clone Force 99, Master Billapa.
Hey, I could have killed all of them way faster than you guys did.
He's like, yeah, Master Billapa, it's Clone Force 99. And,
my balls haven't even dropped yet, and my voice is deeper than your dad's.
Billapa calls their exploits impressive, and Wrecker's like, what the fuck does exploits mean? And Crosshair is like, don't think too hard about it, buddy. You got this. It's I like how they all kind of poke fun at Wrecker for being a huge fucking dumbass. They're just like, God, this guy's dumb. Hunter informs her that they're all the backup Billapa will be receiving. And Tech makes the note that Obi-Wan has engaged Grievous on the planet Utapau, and that the war may soon end. And I was like, oh my God, we're really in it. Like,
yeah,
this is right before Order 66. Obviously, we've seen Revenge of the Sith several times. We know what the timeline is right here.
We know what goes down.
I thought the exact same thing, because whenever I first saw them, I both thought, I wonder how long until we see them die, and also thought, I wonder how long until Order 66. Like, that has to be coming up soon, right?
I mean,
and was not expecting. Yeah, it's happening now. It's happening this episode.
Is like, if they hear that Obi-Wan has engaged Grievous, it probably means like, oh no, like Obi-Wan just killed Grievous, because like, how would they know?
Word travels, yeah.
Yeah, how would they, like, by the time it would have gotten from whoever was getting it out to whoever's receiving that, Obi-Wan just started to engage, Grievous. Like, Grievous is dead at that point. Like,
I think it's wild to think about.
It really is, because that's facts. Like, they heard about it, and Grievous was probably dead.
Yeah, like
Joseph.
Oh my God, they're fighting. Oh my God,
Joseph, you just
like gonna get away,
bro. Joseph, that's just a mad brain.
Well, think about it.
Right
that makes sense too, because less than 5 minutes later, Order 66 happens, and that didn't happen immediately after Grievous. Like, that didn't happen immediately after the battle at Utapau started.
Palpatine probably heard Obi-Wan and Grievous are fighting, and then he's probably not worried because Grievous freaking escaped every single other time that he's been attacked by 500 Jedi. So like, obviously Palpatine's not worried, and then he hears word that in the next minute, Grievous is no longer alive. All right,
yeah.
Let me raise my army real quick.
Yeah, exactly. But Billapa says there's not much they can do about, all that over on Utapau, so they better focus on the task at hand. And Hunter's like, so you're going to give us orders, or shall we do what we do? And I liked the little interaction between Billapa and Caleb here, where she's like, well, what do you think, Caleb? Shall we let them do what they do? And, he's like, only if I can go with them. And
only if I can go with them.
But Billapa sends Caleb with the Bad Batch, and then less than a couple seconds later, it's like, execute Order 66. And we're off. They're firing at Billapa. Caleb slowly turns around, and he's like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on? Clone Force 99 is like watching on like, yo, what the fuck's happening? Caleb's running at Billapa, and she's like, no, get the fuck out of here. You have to run. And what I really enjoyed about this is they altered the origin story of Kanan from the comic books. There is a comic book run called Kanan that explores his whole origin. And in that origin, it's on Collar, and the clones turn against Master Billapa and stuff. But obviously the Bad Batch was not there in the comic book run. That wasn't a idealized thing yet. But I like that little curveball into his origin story. It's fun. And, the Bad Batch approach Caleb after he's heard just the most gruesome scream from Billapa. And he's like, no, get the fuck away from me. Like, what do you all think you're doing? And this is like
obviously.
obviously, like no doubt. And he harbors this hate against clones. Like, the reason I know we don't see him the rest of the series is because when we meet him in Rebels and he sees Rex for the first time, he is absolutely just terrified of Rex. Not terrified of Rex, but like, holy shit, we can't trust this guy. So he's not coming back in this series. I saw some speculation that like, we'll see Caleb again. It's like, no, he's not fucking with the Bad Batch one bit. He's out.
The only thing we see him doing is going and just fucking some clones up, and I don't think we see that.
That poor little guy's got PTSD.
For sure. I mean, they all those survivors of Order 66 out to, I'd imagine. And, Hunter asked the crew, dude, it'd be hell. Like, imagine what little Grogu's going through. Hold on. Grogu.
Oh.
You ain't thought about that in a minute. You ain't thought about that in a minute.
He's at the temple. He's chilling. Whoever broke him out.
Master Skywalker, what are we going to do?
That kid saved Grogu. That kid delayed it just enough so that Grogu could escape.
I respect it. But, Hunter asks his crew, what the hell just happened? And Tech's like, Order 66, I guess. And Wrecker's like, yeah, I heard that shit too. What the fuck is Order 66? And I liked that like none of them knew what the fuck was going on, except in this scene we see someone's being a little not talkative about anything. And it's Crosshair. He doesn't have shit to say.
Soldiers follow orders.
And Hunter and Crosshair go searching for Caleb, and they find him. And Hunter says they're here to help, but Crosshair immediately takes the shot. So you're like, oh, this shit's working on Crosshair, which is odd, frankly. But it also makes a little bit of sense that, like, of the guys, it would probably be him that was the most affected, judging by, like, their abilities, I would guess. Or maybe Hunter. What's, like...
So what, Hunter's you're saying, like, no, so what you're trying to say is him being a good shot makes him, like, the most fed? Like, the most fed?
Yeah.
No, it's... I don't know. Like...
I think Hunter would be too, but...
Yeah, it would make sense if it was Hunter the most. I mean... I don't understand why they went down the path of it
I think the thing that upset me the most was like when I watched the scene where he's just going in from like distance while everybody's on the ground and he is just mowing them down from distance at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this dude is so cool. Like, this is one of my, like, I thought I was so mesmerized by that. And so like what made me mad is like now that's the one that's obviously like a Fed.
But that also makes him one of the cooler characters, like
that is a pretty cool story. That's a pretty.
It's going to be cool to see him hold his own against all the other members of the
right.
Because
wait, can we explain this? So if there were 5 mutated clones,
yes,
one of them being Omega,
yeah,
and then Hunter was placed in. Or Echo was placed in. So yeah. Echo. So this dude, he's a normal clone that was placed in there.
Yeah.
Why did his inhibitor chip not go off? Like what?
It's because he experienced pure torture like throughout the last 5 years of his life, which rendered his inhibitor chip useless.
Wait, what?
Because he was in the episode. It goes over in Clone Wars. He's a clone in one of the episodes that gets left behind.
He gets left behind on Skeko Minor, and the Separatist droids take him, and they, the leadership of the Separatists, they alter his brain and they alter his physiology to make him. Does it
lead to another clone finding out about the inhibitor chip and then him dying? And
no, that's a different.
That's a different arc. It's the very first arc of season 7, Bad Batch.
Yeah.
They go and they find
it's in relation to a clone that was left behind in an earlier season.
Wait, then who's Hunter?
Hunter is just a member of the Bad Batch. He's always been a member of the Bad Batch.
Which one is he?
He's the main
one with
guy.
The skull face. The dude that has like the paint on half of his face.
Like the leader.
Oh, wait.
You're thinking of Crosshair?
No. Wait, then who's Echo?
Echo's the dude that looks like he's on his deathbed.
Yeah, he's all pale and he's got the robot thing.
Motherfucker.
Oh, the cyborg.
The Frankenstein.
Okay, no, I'm thinking about
you're thinking about
Tech?
Skullface.
Yeah, Hunter.
Skullface is Hunter. Yeah.
Dude.
Why did Hunter's inhibitor chip not go off?
Because they're all genetically modified clones, so some of them their inhibitor chips just failed.
What's Hunter's mutation?
He's got a
like leadership,
basically.
Yeah.
He's got like a sixth sense, practically, which is why I think Omega's a clone of him.
No.
That's why I think that's what she is.
Well, wait, but they talk about it as like the 5 mutated clones.
Echo is a modified reg. He was modified by the Separatists. He was not grown on Kamino. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the 5 that they talk about.
Were the 4.
Hunter,
so
Wrecker,
Hunter,
Crosshair, Tech, and Omega.
Were they born or created at the same time, or like is Omega way later than them? Like,
I don't know more. I don't know any more than you do here, frankly.
Like, because can't clones be aged quickly? Like, isn't that the whole thing? Like, they could be aged really quickly. Like, are they holding back on Omega's age for a reason? Like,
like, are you asking basically was Omega made at the same time? I think she was made after. I think the Bad Batch was created, and then Omega was like a side project. You know,
I truly think Palpatine's involved in Omega in one way, shape, or form, whether it's with Tarkin or not.
Well, he's involved somehow through Tarkin. He just has
Tarkin. But like, I think the connection between Palpatine and Omega is far greater. I either think maybe Palpatine is using Omega as like a life force sort of thing, and that this is how Palpatine is immortal or something like that. And maybe since Palpatine is connected to her in that way, she has some force, and like she's using basically Palpatine's power to use the Force, but not really use the Force.
It's interesting though, because I get the impression that Omega is purely at the moment, experiment of the Kaminoans. Like, they were seeing what they could do, is the impression I get. Like,
that's true. That one, the red,
Nala Se.
Kaminoan,
her name's Nala Se.
She seems, like the mom. You just got that vibe of like she's the mom. She's either the creator of Omega or like the caretaker of Omega.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you think that she created Omega, or that she's just a caretaker of Omega?
I wouldn't put it past her to have created Omega. I mean, I don't know, like, do Kaminoans take particular, like, parental guidance over the clones they created? I don't think so.
Yeah, if so then why would she create Omega in the first place? Like, why?
Well, now that we've seen, I know that she is the same. She is cut from the same cloth as all the other clones. She is just genetically modified in some way to be female. She is a girl, but she's also got greater alterations beyond that, obviously. So I'm interested to see if they were trying to see if they could create more than just pure clones of Jango Fett, or to see just how far away they could get from that.
Oh, what if they like mixed Jango's and a woman's DNA, and then they had that is Omega?
Potentially.
Like, what female around this time period would be chosen? What females? What's like a badass female right now? Like a banger.
Shit, man, I don't know. I can't even think of what that would be. Like, if Omega was introduced further after Order 66, I would say a Jedi was captured and their DNA was mixed with a.
Imagine it's Leia.
That'd be wild. That'd be wild. I don't know how it would have happened, but that'd be wild.
Wait.
Well, it's definitely not Leia though, since she's not alive yet.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, duh. Yeah, she's just being born. Like,
like 2 days
in a couple, like a couple hours. Is it hours? Like from now?
It's like it's unclear whether that's like immediately then or it's like a couple days after.
It's probably she's already born, but she's not anywhere where the Kaminoans are going to have access to her.
That's true. Okay, fair.
But
so
nevertheless, let's get back into the episode a little bit. Crosshair takes the shot at Caleb, and Hunter's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, good soldiers follow orders. And he's like, since fucking when do you think that? Where's this coming from? None of us have ever given a shit about the rules. What are you even talking about? And, back at back where Wrecker is, he's confronted by a couple of clones asking about the Padawan, and Wrecker informs them that Hunter is on it. And they're like, well, we've got orders from the Emperor himself. And he's like, well, that's cool, but I told you Hunter's on it. And they're like, fuck you. And they just like blow right past him. And Wrecker's like, all right, Hunter, you got a couple of clones on your tail. And then right after that, Hunter receives word from Tech that the regs have been ordered to execute all the Jedi. And Hunter's like, yo, what the fuck? Why? And he's like, well, they're saying they've committed treason. And then Crosshair goes, well, that explains things. And Hunter's like, no, it doesn't even.
The fuck it does
explain things. So I like that this is showing us that like their switch was beyond just being like kill the Jedi. It's that like now you have a full blown dedication
idealism.
To the Empire.
It's like idealism. Yeah.
They like changed your entire personality.
That's epic.
It's insane.
I mean,
it's absolutely absurd, but
imagine being Palpatine and just the power that man holds. All the Sith, basically the entire universe at one point.
Crazy. But Crosshair spots Caleb in a nearby tree and he shoots at him, and this knocks him from the tree. And this shot of Caleb igniting the lightsaber, getting ready to fight them, I loved it. Like this was it was awesome. And he fights for a second. He kicks Crosshair into a tree, knocking him out. And Hunter's like, hey, chill. I'm with you, G. I don't know what the fuck's going on either. That was all them. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I don't know what this asshole's doing.
And Caleb, understandably paranoid. I can't blame him one bit. Breaks for it. He runs. He makes it to this cliff where there's another cliff on the other side. So if he wants to jump across, he can. And he gets real backed up on it. And him and Hunter have a word here. And Hunter explains that he's as confused as Caleb, and he doesn't know what's going on. And he tells him that he can help him to come with him. So I thought this was interesting. We're showing early on Hunter has this capacity, obviously, to care for younglings. And this automatically makes him the archetypical Din Djarin character now. Like this is our guy, clearly. And it doesn't work out for him ultimately. Caleb, unsure, decides to risk his chances and jumps across. And Hunter watches as Crosshair approaches from behind him and he inquires what happened. Hunter tells him that he stunned him when he jumped and that he didn't make it across. And, Crosshair doesn't quite buy that. He's like, all right. Okay, guy. Okay.
Even takes a scan, bro. Even takes a little scan.
He took a scan. But, back on the ship, the Bad Batch arrived at Camino, and Crosshair is still unsure of Hunter. He says, usually when someone falls, you look down, not across. Just a thought. And Hunter's like, actually, I didn't want to see someone fall to their death. Sorry, Crosshair. And
Valid.
Extremely valid response, It would be odd, though, like in the heat of the moment, if you are fighting someone and they take a fall like that, if
you're
you
probably
just
gonna watch.
stand valiantly and looking on across, it would be a little weird.
I mean, he was a child.
Imagine if you were looking up.
Obviously, he's not actually in a fight with this kid. I don't expect him to watch this guy, but,
I mean, would looking up be worse than looking beyond? Like, just straight?
Who knows?
Beyond?
Asking deep questions.
Just look up and then tell him that he just ascended. And
he just went straight
I just
up.
watched his
I don't know, man. He just went straight up. I don't know.
Straight up.
And then he's like, dude, that's not possible. And he's like, did you think people can move shit with their heads was possible in the when you were born? So a person going straight up is not that far out. Dude, imagine.
Hunter and all them, they're making their way to Camino, and they're asked for a clearance code, and they all think that's a little fucking weird. They're like, well, maybe that's a drill. Fuck it. And they get waved in, and then they land, and they realize this is no fucking drill. Shock troopers, the Coruscant Guard, like the guardians of Palpatine, are here, and it doesn't make a lick of sense to them. Wrecker asks what they've missed, and a shock trooper informs them they've missed the end of the war. And they're like, oh shit, look at that. Tech, it was what you said. You're right. And behind them, you see a Jedi holding its lightsaber, and it falls out of their hand.
Who was that? Do we know?
I don't think.
It was probably the one Jedi that like was stationed on
Kamino.
On Kamino, the one red hair, the red, whatever alien that is. Can't remember her name.
It was, yeah, I don't know, but
it was green. It was like green and
I thought it was yellow.
It was green and yellow. Yeah, green and yellow, or purple and yellow.
Blue and yellow.
Nevertheless, they saw the body of a Jedi there, and the shock trooper's like, "Yo, we got a problem," and they're like, "No problem. We'll head to our rooms. Chill. And they're still like, "What the fuck is going on?" And Wrecker heads to his wall where he carves in, 11 successful missions. And I thought that was like, wow, they've really been gone a while if they haven't been home for 11 successful missions, And Crosshair's like, well, not all of them were successful. We didn't complete all the objectives just now. Hunter didn't kill that kid. Hunter didn't kill the child.
Damn.
He's lying to us. He didn't kill that kid.
Freaking idiot.
And Hunter's like, yo, I don't think executing our commanders, let alone kids, is the mission objective, okay? And Crosshair's like, an order is an order. And he's like, since fucking when, dude? When did we start following orders? And Echo says that, like, none of this makes sense. They've worked with Billipa for years. How could they just turn on her like that? And Tech explains the programming, the well-documented programming that the Kaminoans have implemented into the clones. Like, they can control us. And the reason they can't control us is because we're the shit. And they about to smell it.
If I have one gripe about the show, is that they flat out say things. Like, they do a lot of
explaining,
telling and not showing, or whatever. Like, you know how you're supposed to tell.
Tech does do a lot of explaining. Like, if you don't know something, Tech definitely explained it in this episode. It felt
like it's like an easy way out of, like, I don't know.
But I think it's also I think
lazy.
they're doing that because it's not necessarily lazy, because we've had those things shown to us before if you've watched the Clone Wars. And I think that's why they're just telling us now, is because it would take too long to try and show us, especially whenever they have already shown us. And they just want to explain it straight out, so that way they don't have to, so you don't have to have the expectation that you've already seen.
Another example of this is later on when they meet Saw Gerrera, and Tech's like, oh shit, you're Saw Gerrera, trained by Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex.
Same thing is how people can get into it without having already watched everything else, and then you're not just like, who the fuck is Saw Gerrera? Why the fuck do I care about him?
Yeah. But I don't take huge issue with it, but I do acknowledge it. But like Echo's like, okay, if all the regs are going off like that, why am I not? And they're like, well, see, you've been super, super messed with, so that shit don't work on you no more. And, oh shit, I lost my place in my notes. Found it. Then over the intercom, they're informed of a meeting of the State of the Republic. And Hunter's like, well, you can best believe this is a meeting I don't want to miss. And then we're here. We're at the monologue from Revenge of the Sith by Palpatine, explaining that this is the formation of the First Galactic Empire. And I was like, oh shit. I like how much Revenge of the Sith direct context we got. Like, in the, like, explanation at the beginning, how we got, like, frame for frame shots from Revenge of the Sith, but animated. I loved that. And I loved that, like, we got these references and this crossover with the timeline and the events.
Can you imagine?
Love the, like, direct quote of Palpatine saying, the Reformation into the First Galactic Empire.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Can you imagine being a clone with no inhibitor chip and then seeing every clone around you being like, yeah, like,
they're all
like,
and they're all doing like the exact same celebration.
Yeah,
they're like,
you guys are just like, what?
And Tech's like, you still think these motherfuckers ain't programmed, bro? Look at all this shit. They're all just like,
bunch of fucking sheep, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Couldn't be me, bro. Couldn't be me.
Weak.
Bro, sorry about your grandma, but I'm built different.
Wake up, sheeple.
Walking away from the meeting, Echo questions aloud. He's like, the fucking Galactic Empire, we're soldiers of the Republic. And Crosshair retorts saying, yeah, you know, Republic, Empire, there's no fucking difference. Sounding a lot like Bill Burr in episode 6 there, of season 2 or 7 or 8.
Oh
or
my gosh.
Canon, though. It is canon.
It is canon. But Tech's like, well, you know, the systematic slaying of all the Jedi is a pretty big fucking difference to me, okay, guy? And then Hunter notices that they're being followed. And here we are introduced to Omega, who already, I was like, going into the show, I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to like the Bad Batch as being the main protagonist of the show. Because of season 7 wasn't the hypest on the Bad Batch arc, you know? Like, it was cool, but it was like, this isn't what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, we were introduced to this other character who, up until this episode, I had no idea was a young girl. I just thought it was another clone, judging by the premieres. And just like the mystery shrouding her character has already made this several more times fun to watch for me. Like, I like this character. I like her dynamic with the Bad Batch. I like how she idolizes them. You know, she genuinely looks up to them like they're what she could be one day, you know, and she seems well aware of that.
She is the Grogu of the show.
Well, I think what makes her so easy to gravitate to is just like, think about how like desperate she would be for like someone to look up to or like to have a hero. Like living on Kamino, bro, like who is her like easy pick for being her role model there?
Yeah, all she's got is Nala Se, and Nala Se seems pretty monotone, laid back,
unendearing, pretty cold, pretty hard to like grip onto. Yeah, I'd agree.
It would be hard to bond with people who create people for just casually, you know?
Right. So that's why I think like this makes such an easy connection, and also makes them like so. I guess like I like that they click for me like on screen, like when they're together, like just the way they interact and stuff. It just fits really well.
I'm gonna big brain. Brain. Dave Filoni, he's going dark. This was a dark episode.
Oh gosh,
it's dark. He's going dark. I think. I don't think Omega makes it out of this series alive.
Oh, you think the child dies?
I think the child dies.
They throw you off from what you've expected from the Mandalorian, and they kill Omega.
How far in time do you think this show will stretch?
That's a good question. How far does this 16 episodes take us?
30, 40 years.
Could you imagine it takes us all the way past the sequel trilogy?
It could
That'd be fucking wild.
I mean, at the end of the day,
you'd be cycling through characters. What the fuck?
It could. At the end of the day.
Listen, if I don't see old man Rex, I'm gonna be disappointed.
It could literally just be like a couple weeks, you know.
It'll probably be like a year.
Yeah, I'd imagine we're just gonna get a natural progression of time. It's not like it's gonna be an overwhelming amount of time.
We're gonna get like 2 weeks, and then we're gonna get a 20-year time skip.
Yeah.
In episode 10, I'm calling it right now. 20-year time skip.
Man, that's a bold claim. But you know, we're introduced to Omega. She's the medical assistant to Nala Se, and she pulls Omega away, and Hunter's like, this day just keeps getting fucking weirder and weirder. And then back at the hangar, Admiral Tarkin arrives to Kamino, and I was like, oh fuck yeah. And by the way, you all will be fascinated to hear that the voice actor of Admiral Tarkin, Steven Stanton, liked one of our tweets. Cool.
No way.
Yo.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is tough.
What fucking tweet did he like?
Well, I quote tweeted, he like tweeted like the Bad Batch is out, and I like quote tweeted and I said, it's Star Wars season, baby. And he threw a like. He threw us a like.
Let's go, dude.
But, you know, he informs the Kaminoans of the discontinuation of their contract with the Republic due to its no longer existing. And the Prime Minister's like, well, you're going to need these fucking clones to peacekeep all throughout the galaxy now that you've killed all the fucking Jedi. And he's like, no, we're going to do just fine. We're just going to enslave kids as children and just raise them like this. and it'll be so much cheaper. It's just going to be so much cheaper for us, you know? And, they're like, well, at least keep some of our fucking clones and we'll see what we can keep doing. He's like, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to judge. And, he's going to look at these clones. He's going to see what they can do. And we cut to a mealtime with Wrecker, who thinks back to the day's events and goes, ha, clones programmed? Couldn't be me. And Tech's like, actually, it wouldn't be that far of a stretch to think your love for destruction would be due to some sort of programming. And he's like, no, I like to blow things up because I like to blow things up. Get me? And Hunter's like, God damn it, guys. Someone's here to inspect us. And Tech's like, hopefully not. I like this little joke. Hopefully not mental.
Oh, yeah.
We would not pass that. And then Omega just casually joins them for lunch. She's just like, hey, what's up, guys? And they all just kind of look at her in confusion. She's like, I'm Omega from earlier.
Omega gives me some creepy vibes.
In the old way?
No, I can't figure out her accent. She's got this like Wanda Maximoff, like where it's like different or like does have it. Sometimes does, sometimes doesn't.
Well,
like,
it's
Australian English. Yeah. It's American Australian.
Yeah, it's Australian.
I thought it was
American.
So.
It's an American.
Well, it actually
do an Australian, accidentally doing a New Zealand. It's sometimes
it's none of the above.
It's
actually I looked it up. I think she's from like the Philippines.
Omega.
Bro, no. Listen, all I want to know is like I feel like if we put a cowboy hat on her, I would understand her better, or like her accent would like make more sense.
I don't know. She kind of creeps.
Sky.
She kind of creeps me out.
She is from New Zealand.
Oh, I fucking nailed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like an Australian New Zealand accent. She sounded too much
like Korg to not be.
That's what I was thinking. Korg? Oh my God. I was like, dude, I low-key thought to myself, in the middle of the episode, right at the beginning, I literally said in my head, I was like, is Taika Waititi voicing this character low-key? Like, what's going on?
I'm Omega. You know, like, it's just...
Dude, but did you ever get any weird vibes with her? Like...
No, you were thinking...
No, not that.
You were, like, off the shit, bro.
It's weird. I got this weird...
Like, well, yeah, it was supposed to be mysterious, like what's going on.
But a weird mysterious. It was weird.
No, bro. You're
and, like, I don't know, man. It was a little creepy to me.
I don't know where you're getting that. I thought it was perfectly innocent. But, you know... Hunter's like, don't you have like somewhere to be? And she's like, no, I'll stay. And they're like notably confused. There's like no one has ever wanted to sit with us before. And she's like, you know, I like you guys. You're not like anybody else around here, just like me. And Hunter says, don't you have parents or something? And she goes, parents? Which is when I went, she's a clone.
Okay. Why would the Bad Batch be getting bullied? Like, wouldn't they be looked up at as like bad?
I had this thought, like, whenever these two fuckboy clones walk behind them and are like, the Misfits got another member of their gang. It's like, yo, they would fuck on you and you know it.
Yeah, like what? Why are they making fun of like the coolest guys on campus?
Well, you know, they're clones, and
because they're different.
They're different. That's the.
And everyone knows you bully people who are different.
Wow.
Yo, I just want to say one time. I just want to say one time that, like, I wish I was a kid growing up watching this show right now. Like, being able to have this show, like Mandalorian, being like in that like 10 to 12 age right now.
Oh, it's like. Ideally, this is the golden age to grow up in Star Wars.
Yeah, because you could watch all of it whenever you wanted with Disney Plus, which if you're going to watch this stuff, you obviously have it. So you could literally just watch we're talking about the original trilogy whenever you wanted as a 10 to 12-year-old kid. Dude,
that kids have it so easy these days.
Like, I had to go dig through the freaking box in the closet and get permission from my mom and dad to watch it. Bro, like, that meant I only watched it, like, every so often, like, rare.
That's true.
I watched it on this little DVD player I had, the special editions.
Dude, those were dope.
Dude, the case those came in,
Kind of ahead of their time. Not gonna lie.
Those shit were clean.
Kind of ahead of their time.
God. Sheesh. It's funny listening to different generations of Star Wars fans discuss Star Wars, you know? Like, there are people who are like 40 who obviously had a very different experience than we did. And there are also kids who are like 15, 16 who think the prequel trilogy ain't shit and the sequel trilogy is fucking God. You know, like, it's wild, the different spectrum of people.
So that's what's weird. It's like you say that, no, but like that's weird. It's like, children brains. Like, you said 15 to 16 for that age group, but what's weird is like I'm only 4 years older than that age group. I'm 20 years old, and like we have totally different perspectives and views and like opinions and like had different experiences.
Well, a huge part of that is that in 2015, when The Force Awakens came out, we would have been 15, 14. They would have been
10.
9 or 10.
True.
You know, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like, it's different. That's the thing. Even that difference is huge.
And with the prequel trilogy, there was a reason they developed us to a degree.
Completely undeveloped, smooth brain.
Smooth brain.
A developed human versus a smooth-brained human that is still gross. I mean, that's a big difference, honestly, in my book.
But let's get back to the episode, you know. The clones walk by, they're talking shit, and Omega throws her food at her. Or throws her food at them. She's like, you need to apologize to my fucking friends, okay? And Wrecker's like, I fuck with this kid. She is dope. And they walk up on Omega like they're gonna do something to this 12-year-old, and Hunter suggests that they keep fucking moving. And Wrecker stands up behind Omega like, I am here to serve and protect. And I was like, God, I love this dynamic already. And, the clones decide to
clocked in the face.
They just decide to keep moving, you know? They're like, you need to know your fucking place. And I was like, oh, Wrecker's not going to like that. And Wrecker didn't like that. And he threw his food. And then they turn around and Wrecker's like, oops, sorry, guys. And then it's on. They just really get into a fucking brawl here at mealtime. And, up above, Echo spots Tarkin watching on, and it distracts him enough to get knocked the fuck out.
Yes.
But, you know, he wakes up to a medical exam by the droid AZ. And none of you guys have read the most recent Darth Vader comic run, but the beginning of the story starts with AZ being Darth Vader's kind of companion on his journey.
The AZZ145835.
Exactly, because, you know, Darth Vader's not one to really narrate what he's doing. So they needed they needed some companion to kind of give context, because he's not a very talkative guy.
Yeah, no, he's pretty close to the best.
He's a sad boy at the end of the day.
But yeah, so I liked seeing that in this first episode we already had like 2 direct links to comic book material, recent comic book material, which means they're really, really paying attention to that stuff, and that could have a very real influence on what canon is.
It's Dave Filoni at the end of the day.
And I like that AZ's like, oh God, to the Bad Batch. It appears that you guys are genetically defective clones. Deal with this news how you will. And I like the little comment, we're more deviant than we are defective. I was like, I just fuck with this group of dudes. They're fun. They're a fun little batch. And Echo explains that Tarkin is the one who's here to examine them, and he's not too fond of clones. And Hunter's like, well, I guess we'll fucking find out. We've been summoned by the Prime Minister. We're about to get fucking punished. And Omega was like, stop. The fight's my fault. I've got to go with you. And he's like, dude, you're a child. Stay the fuck away from us. Like, you don't want to gang up with this. You ain't with it. Not like us.
Yeah, she's not about it like that.
And
that's the thing. He's like, we're nothing like that.
We're nothing but trouble. And then, you know, they walk out the door and they're informed, nah, you're being tested. Let's go. And Wrecker's like, so we're not in trouble and we get to fight some more. Maybe the Empire ain't so bad after all.
This was an interesting point of view. Right after Order 66.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
it's a perfect perspective of the confusion of the galaxy.
Yes.
Like, there are people who do not know what the fuck's going on.
Almost like this like intermission where it's like they're like this waiting period where it's like sit tight, like we don't really know what's about to happen for sure, like just keep waiting.
The Kaminoans at the end of this episode, it's fascinating to hear, let's wait and see what the intentions of the Empire are. Like, bro, like obviously it's so interesting that we know the Empire is not to be trusted. You can't fuck with the Empire. But at this point in the timeline, they're like, well, let's see what the Empire's about.
Whatever they're gonna do, it's gonna happen. There's no stopping it now. Like at that point, it's like, if we die, we die. You know.
Yeah, but they get to their training exercise, and it starts out pretty light. Like Wrecker can mostly handle it on his own. He dispatches all these droids, and then Tarkin's like, level that shit up. So they start using some live rounds, and Wrecker takes a few bolts, and he's like, wait, what the fuck? This ain't right. So, they struggle for a while. They're like actually in a battle for their lives now. Like they don't have a choice. And, they use their fucking weird tactics to get their way. They figure a way out. The fact that Tech reprogrammed a droid on the spot to take over.
You know what? Okay. You know what this reminds me of? Did you guys ever watch the Lilo and Stitch TV show?
Yeah.
Bro, the way that there's always like one different alien with a different power. Like that's how this show makes me feel like it's going to be with like how they get their way out of scenarios. Like just going to be just like, oh, what's it going to be this episode? Some fuckery. Like who knows? And then also I love the way that they make the fight scenes in the show feel so like quick and fast while simultaneously sometimes taking time to like slow it down and let a moment like kind of like flow.
Dude, I was taking notes on this episode, right? And I was like, and I did it right before this podcast, so I was like kind of pressed for time, I felt like. And I thought about like I don't need to skip the fight scenes. This will be nice and quick. Bro, they're like 8 to 10 minutes out of this episode, this training exercise is. Yeah. And like I was entertained the entire time. Like I wanted to watch the whole thing.
Right. I just love that there's times where they'll like have a moment like feel quick and feel like you feel that like hit or like that shot, you feel the like gravity of the moment. And then another time they'll like slow it down and like they'll let a like hit come at you and like kind of last long and like really hit and like, hang on there. And I really like it was fun to watch, I guess. Just
it's that, good. Like this was one of the best single episodes of Star Wars. To be honest, like given the period we're at, like this is Tillman told me this off mic, obviously, since he can't join us for the show. He said better than any episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Wow.
Besides the last, and he didn't say besides the last one, but I don't know how you could possibly think the last one is like the best episode of Star Wars television ever. So
excluding the last episode, I agree.
I agree too. And I didn't think about it like that when I initially watched it, but he said it and I was like, you know what? He's right. And I love The Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong. Like in my eyes, exquisite television, perfect television. Exquisite. Chef's kiss. It's just, it's outstanding, but like, damn, this was good.
Mm-hmm.
And an hour and 15 minutes.
Let's see where it stands with the rest of Disney Plus. So take Bad Batch, where you have that in your rank. Take Bad Batch, take WandaVision, the best of the best of WandaVision, the best of the best of
I'll do
Captain
this.
America.
How about the premieres? Judging by the premieres, Mandalorian Season 1, Mandalorian Season 2, WandaVision, and The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I gotta say, this is probably the best premiere.
Number one, by far. Number one.
Mandalorian Season 1 was different, like, just because it was like, holy shit, this is our first Star Wars live-action TV show. Like, it was just a different type of hype.
Right.
But, like, looking at it, watching the episode, and obviously given the knowledge of the prequels is what really backs this up. Like,
and it being on May the 4th. Oh, my God.
It was different. And, like, it reminded me of when I watched Clone Wars Season 7's premiere, Like, that was a big one, too. I loved that premiere.
Take a step back. get out your body and realize, like, we're going through new Star Wars right now, like in our lives, and we will remember this, and we will tell our children whenever we have our little mini me's about.
We'll send them the link.
Yeah,
we'll send them the link. The Penny Bloom podcast. Listen to this, kid.
We went through new Star Wars, and like that, they're little stupid baby smooth brains, you know, that don't know true Star Wars yet. But you will learn, young one day.
Youngling. But, you know, they ultimately defeat these fucking droids in this exercise, and Tarkin walks away, colored slightly impressed. And he speaks to the Kaminoans about Clone Force 99, and he asks how many enhanced clones there are. And she informs them that there are only 5. And I was like, okay, so Omega's definitely a clone. Yeah. And Tarkin says, what, like, you know, they don't listen though. Like they just don't. They're not good at following orders. And the Kaminoans were like, yeah, but they like literally always get the job done. It's not like a matter of question. They just will do it. And Tarkin says that he's not so sure. You know, one of their own even filed a report saying they didn't kill that Jedi Padawan on collar. So we'll see. And back with the Bad Batch in their...
Sorry, it just goes to show like the information flow and how much Tarkin just knows.
Tarkin just knows shit, bro. And he's a fun villain because he is just like, he's like Thrawn is like the extreme version of Tarkin. Like Tarkin is real low key compared to what Thrawn could be eventually in terms of canon. But like he's just a fun, like a different, and like the OG, you know. He is 1977 Star Wars.
Yeah,
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Thrawn, I've always liked Thrawn a lot more. Like he's been a much more likable character. Tarkin, every single time I see him, I'm just like, God, I just fucking hate him so much. But I love that.
That's his character.
I love. Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's like I don't hate him because he's a bad character. I hate him because that's who his character is, and I love
exactly. I knew I smelled your foul stench when I got on board.
Dude, in the lines they had, the lines were just so Tarkin. Like they got his vibe,
dude, and
very well.
That impression of the original actor is just too perfect.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of got me sniffling a little bit. Rest in peace to the OG.
To the OG.
But
you know, Wrecker's like, fucking live rounds on us? The fuck? And Crosshair's like, quit being a bitch. We get shot at all the time. And then they're like, yeah, but like in battle, not here.
Not just for fun.
Yeah. What the fuck?
They were talking to Tarkin a little too casually for me. Like, I don't know. I feel like if Tarkin's in a room, like he's taking control and like.
Yeah, like when Tarkin walked, like I can't remember the exact first thing he says, but like Hunter really gave him like a smart ass retort.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's who the Bad Batch are.
I know.
They don't give a fuck who you are. They're gonna treat you the same way regardless.
Like imagine Darth Vader walks in a room and you're like, yeah, you're an
idiot.
I don't
gonna fuck around with Darth Vader.
Bitch.
Like Tarkin kind of has that Darth Vader energy to him.
Ooh, what if we got Darth Vader meeting the Bad Batch, and the Bad Batch being just a little too cocky?
What if,
you know what I'm saying?
Darth Vader
and
he walks in and Hunter goes, "Hey, how's that leg, nerd?"
So we get Darth Vader demolishing
Darth Vader and being like, "Oh, that's some cool armor, bro," and he pushes him and he like hits his helmet, and Darth Vader's just like grabs his throat, you know? Like I can see that shit happening.
So you think this could end with Darth Vader killing the Bad Batch?
No, I don't think that will
not
be
how this series ends. It's the Bad Batch meeting Darth Vader, and Darth Vader just wipes the floor with them.
They did say this is going to be a horror type show.
Yeah, the whole show is just to establish the boundary. Like, you think these Bad Batch guys are pretty good, but a Sith Lord is really a Sith Lord, you know? Like, at the end of the day, a Sith Lord, it's hard to beat a Sith Lord, you know?
Yeah, you're not going to fuck with that guy.
I don't.
But, you know.
I mean, a Sith Lord walks into a bar.
Bar's dead. Tarkin, you know, he offers them, he's like, here's your chance. You know, we've got some insurgents on Onderon, separatists who want to keep the war alive. You complete this mission, you wipe them out. We will consider using you as a force in the Imperial Army. And they're like, all right, deal. And as they get ready for the mission, Echo and Tech discuss the lockdown nature of the Imperial's files, you know, and Wrecker just swoons over the firepower, and he's like Crosshair's like, he even cried, and he's like, don't do that. You cried too, motherfucker. And you know, as Hunter heads for the ship, Omega approaches, and she's like, that Imperial officer, he has it out for you. I heard him say that he doesn't like clones. And she's like, I just don't trust him. And Hunter's like, hey, it's all right. A mission's a mission. We'll be all right. Don't worry. She's like, well, then let me come with you. And he's like, nah, it ain't that laid back. You just need to be patient. All right. You know, change takes getting used to. And they part, and she's like, Hunter, never mind. You know, she does that whole thing. And he makes his way back to the ship, and Crosshair's like, is there a problem? And he's like, there's just something about her that I cannot figure out. And Crosshair gives him shit. He's like, well, I guess kids aren't your strong suit. And they take off. Omega is summoned by Nala, and that's that. And Clone Force 99 arrives on Onderon, and they begin hunting for the insurgents. And Hunter says it's got to be covert. And Wrecker's like, fuck, man, I haven't blown shit up in days. And Tech's like, be careful, Wrecker. That's your programming kicking in. And I like the way they fuck with each other. It's fun little nagging that you don't get a lot of in Star Wars, I feel like.
It's just the boys being boys.
It's boys being boys.
It's just guys being dudes. Just a couple guys being some dudes.
But they make their way through the jungle, and they find the insurgents. They're like, oh shit, this ain't droids at all. It's humans. There's women and children. And they deliberate on a course of action. Crosshair is like, give me the order. I'm gonna shoot this kid that I've got.
He was ready.
On right now.
Yeah, he was ready.
No, like the fact that the first thing you picked, excuse me, sir, you got all this options, and you're like, let me focus on this kid.
Listen, like, they're just women and children. Who cares?
Dude, but you know, they deliberate so long that Hunter's like, shit, we're not alone, and they are quickly surrounded and brought in for questioning. And they are brought before Saw Gerrera. And again, Tech is like, hey, you're Saw Gerrera, you know, trained by Anakin Skywalker and Rex.
Wow.
And he explains that they've got Republic fighters, farmers, croppers, now refugees who refuse to fight for the Empire or be ruled by the Empire. And Hunter explains that they expected to find droids, not. And Saw cuts him off. He's like, civilians? Times change. Targets change. And Saw notes, it makes you wonder what else they're lying about.
Like everything.
He tells them that the Clone War may have ended, but the Civil War is about to begin. You can either adapt and survive or die with the past. I was like, damn, bro, Saw Gerrera just spitting.
Yeah, no, but it's so obvious which side is obviously the one to go with, like based on sales pitches alone. Like the Empire and like the clones that were talking to them gave them the shittiest pitch, like, yo. The Kaminoans,
they just got live rounds from their commander. Like their commander to be just shot at them.
Meanwhile, Saw Gerrera is sitting here giving you those lines, bro. No, it's no contest. Why? What is there to even think about?
Go revolutionary with it. It's no questions. But you know, Saw walks away, and the Bad Batch head for their ship. But in the distance, we see an Imperial probe droid, which just a classic. Empire Strikes.
How many of those things you think Tarkin has?
Oh, so many, just all over the galaxy.
Bro, he's a probe kind of guy.
He really is. But back at the ship, Tech says that he preferred knowing where he stood, at least, with the Republic. You know, this shit ain't it. And Crosshair says they need to complete the mission. And the others are like, dude, why on earth do you keep talking about the fucking mission? Shut your mouth, dude.
Hey, good soldiers follow orders, Colton.
And they really have a standoff here, like Hunter and Crosshair have like a real deal standoff. They're about to like draw on each other. Then Hunter draws his gun and he shoots the Imperial probe droid in the distance. And they realize Tarkin's spying on him. And Hunter says that Omega told him that this would happen. Hunter's like, Omega, she told me this would happen. And Crosshair's like, so you're just going to take the word of a kid now. Like, that's what we're doing. And Hunter's like, fuck yeah. What do you mean? And Tech then informs the group that she is an enhanced clone. He's like, I figured it was obvious. I thought you all would have figured that out by now. But he's like, Echo's a reg. She's got to be the fifth one. And Wrecker and Echo are like, and you waited till now to tell us? He's like, I thought you'd know. And Hunter's like, well, we've got to go back for her. And Crosshair's like, bro, you're going to disobey orders for this kid? And he's like, yo, she's one of our own. We don't leave one behind.
Yeah, the fact that Crosshair is out here calling Hunter into question as often as he has been, just fucking ridiculous, bro. You're really gonna try to keep checking this dude on things that
and the persistence of it is what tells me that it's clearly the programming working.
He can't help it.
He can't help it. He just has to question what this guy's telling him because he consistently makes the choices against the Empire, and that's not what his conscience is telling him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's like so going against every fiber of his being. It's like, this guy's just so wrong.
Exactly. But, back on Kamino, Omega is hanging out in the Bad Batch's room, admiring them. And but someone comes in, catching her, and she tells her to come with him and to pack up Clone Force 99's things and take it to the hangar. And AZ's like, hands off, we're medical. He gets shot. And she's taken by the clone. We cut back to the Bad Batch entering Kamino. They land and they make their way to the hangar where they do not know an ambush is waiting. They are quickly surrounded, and Tarkin says, the Empire doesn't tolerate failure. What you've just done is treason. You've won death. So head to your cell. And, they're thrown in a cell alongside Omega. Tech's like, well, the mission wasn't a total failure. Here we are. And Hunter tells her that they've come back for her and that now we need to protect you. You need to come with us. And she's like, dude, fuck yeah, that's what I wanted the whole time. Dope. And Crosshair's like, oh, how fucking touching. And Wrecker's like, so how are we actually going to get out of here, though? And again, Crosshair questions Hunter again. He's like, you realize that, the reason we're in here is because this guy keeps disobeying orders. And the others are like, dude, why do you keep going
about these orders?
And he keeps saying good soldiers follow orders, which is the line we kept hearing in Clone Wars arcs where the inhibitor chip went off a little too early, and in Order 66.
There is no war in Bossing Say.
But everyone looks at him like he's lost it, and Omega sits down next to him while he's rubbing his forehead, and she's like, you're angry. I know what you're going to do. Please don't. I know it's not your fault. She's really speaking to what's about to happen. And he's then summoned from his cell, and Hunter's like, no, we stay together. And that didn't work out for him. He got hit. And, Crosshair's put to sleep, lies down for his examination on the inhibitor chip. And Nala says yo, that shit's halfway into effect. Tarkin's like, can you turn that shit up for me?
All the way to the max.
Blast that shit.
Just max it out.
Max volume. We're going all the way up with it.
Fuck them.
But, back in the cell, Tech realizes that this shit wasn't built to be a prison. Nobody's ready really for this, especially for a guy like Wrecker. And Wrecker gets overly excited. He's like, I get to punch something. And they're like, dude, shut the fuck up. And he's like, I get to punch something. And, they form a wall so Wrecker can begin his punching. And, he punches, acts casual. He punches and he acts casual. Yep. And one more time, he gets it. That shit opens.
Thinking about sorry, I just have to mention this. Why is it? So he says, all right, you're going to need to punch it really hard because, you're big and strong and it's not ready for this. And the first time he punches it, he just goes
dude, I thought I was tripping.
He just barely fucking taps it.
Noticed that. Yeah,
it didn't do anything.
Baby punch.
And then he's like, it didn't do anything. And they're like, all right, maybe try punching it one more time, but a little bit harder this time. And then he puts all his fucking weight behind it like he's a goddamn boxer. And I was like, does this dude not have a 50% mode, or is it only 0 or 100?
I didn't even notice that. I'll have to check that out. But they finally get that shit open, and they're like, okay, Omega, get in there, get over there, turn that shit off so we can get out. And the clones immediately walk over after, because of course, and they're like, where's Omega? And they're like, well, I don't fucking know. You took her. And they're like, no, we fucking didn't. And they hear the little rattling of Omega up there, and Wrecker's like, oh shit, sorry, these floors aren't built for me because I'm an enhanced clone. Da, da, da. And it's like, Jesus, Wrecker, come on, man. You're just really, really, really fucking up over here. And they're like, well, what's behind you? And he's like, nothing. They're like, dude, come on. He's nothing. They're like, come on and move for me. And, Omega drops down, takes out the clones temporarily. She flips that switch. And the Bad Batch escape. That's that for them. They do their little sneaky sneak through the facilities. And they make their moves to the hangar where they find their things and get it all gathered, suiting up and such. Wrecker freaks out. He's like, where is it? Where is it? And Omega spots a little stuffed animal on the ground. She goes and picks it up. But she senses on the other side of the door, they've got company. And it opens, and they see Crosshair, donned in all black, just dressed in all black. This is not for the fan of Elvis. He's aiming straight for your pelvis. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick Lamar on some control shit. But he's looking kind of pimp, and he's hunting them. And the boys get ready for battle. Crosshair's like, y'all got to stand down. Hunter's like, is that an order? And I was like, ooh, goddamn.
That was a good clap. That was a good clap.
He said, I guess it is. And he's like, well, then I'll be disobeying that one too. I was like, fuck yeah. I loved it. And then they have the classic Western stare down. You heard the you had that shit, and Crosshair fires. And they exchange fire for a time. Wrecker catches a blaster bolt. But luckily Tech can manage to get the ship going and stuff. And Crosshair gives the order, shut that shit, shut it down. And he tries, but we've got some interception from Nala, who wants Omega and the Bad Batch to get out. Presumably just wants Nala to get out, to protect her, I'm assuming. I think we've got kind of a Pershing...
Protect her from what?
I think we got a Pershing Grogu situation here where she's just preserving the science. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't want anything to happen to her because it preserves the experiment. But
I think it's more.
You do?
I think it's because
emotionally attached to her.
I think it's because if she doesn't escape, Palpatine will get her and then experiment on her and maybe kill her.
That's a distinct possibility, certainly. And I don't want to rule anything out, obviously. We're only episode 1. We shall see. But, they break for the ship, firing along the way. And Omega eyes a blaster, grabs the blaster, and shoots the gun straight out of Crosshair's hand. And it's like, wait a minute. She's nice with it. She's like Frog Lady in episode 2 of season 2.
She's just like, I don't know. It blows my mind that she was able to handle that thing so precisely. And
then she let out a few more shots just for for good measure. He was running away and she's like, pew, pew, pew. Like she was not going to let that man just get a free chance here. Yeah. And I loved that shit.
That was nice.
Yeah, but this gives them the opportunity to make it on their merry way. And Nala goes to see the Prime Minister, and she's like, Clone Force 99 escaped along with Omega, and he's like, all right, just stay quiet until we can see the true intentions of the Empire.
That's so serious. Like, you have to be shitting your pants after you say that. You're basically just saying, like, you know what? Something big's about to happen. We can't do anything about it. Let's just see if we're alive out of this. Let's just see what happens tomorrow whenever we wake up. I mean,
but back on the ship, they tend to Wrecker's wound, and Omega's like, "Is this what you were looking for?" And Wrecker's like, "Malula." I love that. Wrecker's got a stuffed animal, and that's just cute. Mm-hmm. But Omega wanders up to the front of the ship, and Hunter finds her. He's like, first time in space, and she's like, first time literally anywhere else. I've been there my entire life. And
that's good information, actually.
It is.
Like, she's never been anywhere else but there.
He's like, you handled that blaster awfully well. Did you learn anything? And she's like, never touched one in my life. That's it. And the rest of the team makes their way in. Hunter tells them they can't just lay low now with Crosshair after them. But he can think of a friend to visit on J19. He tells Omega to strap in, and she's not going to want to miss this. They make the jump to hyperspace. Omega is mesmerized, and we cut to black. Who are they going to see?
Rex.
You think? You think they have that much faith that a reg didn't give in?
Nope.
Yes. Because
nope.
Because I'm thinking of all of their possible friends. It can't be any Jedi. They weren't really friends with that many Jedi to begin with. Their only real friends are going to be the few regs that they did meet that they became friends with.
There's one answer.
Who?
And it's that guy, that one reg that left the war and had his family like on a farm or whatever and had kids with a wife.
Yeah, but they don't know about him.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about him.
Mm-hmm. They do.
I mean, they could know about him. It's not
they could, but it's doubtful that they like. I feel like
maybe they know. Maybe they know about him through Rex.
We have seen in the trailer, Rex will be in the series.
Yeah.
It's a matter of whether they stumble upon Rex or they genuinely seek Rex out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking they seek Rex out because I'm thinking that the only clone that they could think, because we also know that Rex had a clone that did like go through it early, so they could know that Rex took his inhibitor chip out. Because Rex did take his inhibitor
chip out until Order 66 happened.
I thought he took it out before that. Or who?
No, it was fired on Ahsoka.
Who was it that took it out? Was it Fives that took it out after the one dude?
Yeah, I think
went crazy.
Well, no, because Fives gets capped in the finale.
That's
Jesse.
Fives got his taken out, all stealth like at Camino.
Yeah,
and then
it was Fives that got his take.
And then
no, that was the other one. Fives was the one that was friends with the dude that got his taken out stealth like.
Yes.
Went crazy. Then Fives like searched out the truth,
because that's what Rex
was
telling Ahsoka when he's about to shoot her. He's like, "Find Fives."
Yeah. And so I think who knows? Maybe they know that. Or maybe they heard that Fives went rogue, because obviously they know like they know like what Jedi are still out on the loose, and so they would know that Ahsoka is still out on the loose, and so maybe they know that Rex didn't kill Ahsoka, and so they're going to find Rex.
Mm.
Oh, there is the possibility that at this point Rex would be publicly wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that they would know that.
That's
Rex
a very good point. I hadn't considered that. That like
basically any Jedi that you know of,
Rex, Captain Rex was wanted because he aided and abetted the escape of a Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there is the distinct possibility they know Rex is not switched.
And knowing that Rex is going to be in it makes me think it's Rex, just because one, he's going to be in it, and two, like he's the only one that we've seen them become friends with.
What was that JR-20 thing, whatever? 19.
That's just like the name of the like sector or the planet or whatever.
But like, do we know what that is? Do we know what that is in specific? Like,
here, let me look it up.
Is it like on the wiki?
J19 Star Wars. Let's see. This is an article from Dork Side of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
By Jonna Marie Macias. After suffering a major blow in the series premiere of Star Wars The Bad Batch, the remaining members of the Clone Force 99. Okay, so what is J-19? Earlier in the Clone Wars, General Grievous and his separatist forces capture Jedi Master Eth Koth in Grievous Intrigue. During a transmission, Koth secretly communicates with hand signals, tipping off the Jedi Council in the process. Obi-Wan Kenobi translates the message and says, Salsami System, Sector J-19. So, we've been here before in the Clone Wars. In the follow-up episode, the deserter, Joe was right. It's the guy who went and saw his family. The deserter. Rex leads a search party to find Grievous.
Fucking serious?
They find shelter in a farmer's barn.
Oh, you guys.
Rex eventually discovers the farmer is also a clone. So, but there's also the possibility, what if that's where Rex went? After Order 66, that's where Rex went.
Did I not say that afterwards?
You did?
No.
I didn't. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But
said, like,
that's where Rex goes, and they run into Rex there. I think that's a very, very sound theory.
Yeah.
I'm too big brain. Insane.
Oh my gosh.
J19. It's just up here. J19. It's just up there. It's just what I just know that.
J19 was carved into Joseph's brain at birth for this very moment.
Yeah, right here, right now. I can die now.
That was his programming.
See you later, boys. I've served my main purpose in life. Number one purpose, sir.
Well, shit, guys. You got anything else to say about this fucking phenomenal premiere we've got?
Ermegerd is Palpatine's granddaughter, is Rey.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just big braining all over the place. Well, we're going to end it there.
Well, okay. Damn.
Go ahead, Kyler.
All right. No, what I was going to say was there was one thing that really surprised me. I guess it was the fact that this was like an hour and like 5 minutes of like content.
15.
Yeah, well, I was kind of given like a little bit for credit, but I think it was like 3 minutes.
It was only like
credits.
3 minutes.
Yeah,
credits.
So that's
it was like
hour 12.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see them do so much with that amount of time and like really like make that like
they really fledged out this
that
premiere.
didn't feel very long. Like that felt like pretty like, you know, obviously if an episode feels like it's going on for a really long time, that's not very good. But when an hour and 12 minute episode goes by and it doesn't like drone on, that's pretty damn good. So I was really impressed.
I found myself not wanting it to end, you know.
Yeah, and I really loved the animation, which I know just kind of keeps up with like the updated like Clone Wars that we got last year. It
upgraded too. Like it was that, and then they did it like even better.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was fantastic.
Sorry, just real quick. I am just looking forward to listening to this to the intro, dude. Once a week for the next
dude, I love that voice. It's so like I remember that so vividly because I went with my friend to go watch the Clone Wars.
The Republic.
Yes, I went to go watch the Clone Wars.
That was good.
I went to watch the Clone Wars movie in theaters when it came out with one of my best friends from childhood. And so like just I remember like sitting down and the screen comes on and that voice just like in the huge theater.
Yeah.
I remember there's a character in the Clone Wars who that guy voices. So every time he showed up in the Clone Wars, you're always like, that is the narrator. Like he had the same exact voice. You know, like it was that.
That's dope though. That's kind of clout. He's the narrator and a character. Man.
I'm just so happy that they got
he's in the trenches.
Tom Kane. That's that guy.
He's in the trenches.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's hard.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Tom Kane is in.
Yeah.
But fuck yeah, guys. Fuck yeah. This was the Bad Batch, bitches.
We are the bad bitchy boys.
We are the Bad Batch bitch boys.
Let's go.
Bad Batch bitch boys.
Bad Batch bitchy boys.
The Penny Bloom podcast. 'Twas I, Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colton.
I mean, absolutely. Thank you, Miles fucking Buttress.
Hey, I mean, you know, anytime, man. Anytime.
Next week, even?
Maybe. Probably.
And on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot. KBZ, Kyler Barnett, thank you.
Absolutely anytime.
Absolutely. Fuck yes.
Great to be back.
Great to have you, buddy.
Missed you.
All right, guys. I'm gonna need everyone listening. Everyone listening. First job. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the way we grow. We also need you to share us with a friend. We need you to go follow on Twitter at PennyBloomPod. On Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Keep up with us, the Bad Batch bitches, talking about the Bad Batch every week for the next several weeks and then eventually crossing over with Loki because those will be happening at the same time at some point. It'll be exciting. Keep up with us. If you want the uncut, unrated version of this podcast, go to patreon.com/CoroBloom. You can find it under the $5 tier where you will also have access to Discounted Posters I create. Little plug there. And peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.